Dumb. Welcome into the DNVR Avalanche Postgame show, live from the Toyota Lounge. It's a loser's lounge, but they did get a point at least out of this loser's lounge. Go check out your Front Range Toyota dealerships. And we are, of course, presented by Bet365. We've got Bailey, we've got Rudo talking about a 4-3 shootout loss for the Colorado Avalanche. I do think there's a good amount to talk about in this game, top to bottom. I don't know, Bailey, where should we start?
We could start in a lot of different places. Yeah. I don't know. Lecky's good for scoring late. Cale Makar is good for scoring late.
Yeah, I mean,
scoring late in periods, the Avs secret sauce.
Maybe they're doing it a lot lately. That's for sure. I don't think this was a bad game at all for any stretch. In fact, I would say the Avs played pretty well for most of this game. Mm-hmm. And certainly frustrating that they didn't capitalize on some opportunities. And if they probably win in regulation. And that's, I don't know. A lot of this game to me is, yeah, well, that's hockey sometimes. Yeah. I can live with that.
Yep.
There are some things I can't live with too, though, mostly being the Avs power play, and I know they scored on one late. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but the Avs are still a very good team. Obviously, losing that point doesn't feel good, and I think there's a lot of things to be frustrated about in this game, so I understand if chat's just mad tonight, and I'm going to be mad in a little bit, I promise. There's some things I'm mad about, but on the whole, road trips 2-1-1, fine.
I feel there's two sides of this for me personally. First off, as you said, the road trip goes 2-1-1.
Yep.
For any, I'm going to call them a normal team, that would be perfectly fine.
Yep.
It is a little disappointing to get the loss, but you're on the positive side of points. So I'm not necessarily mad about that. On the bad side, and maybe this is just me complaining just to complain, you had the opportunity to be the first team to 50 points.
Yep. I mean, you still do. I don't think Dallas plays tomorrow, but
no, I mean, you still can.
Yeah.
But like knowing that was on the table tonight for me is a little, just kind of an extra jab, I guess, in a game like this.
For sure. The Avs didn't get the win. That sucks. Let's do the 60-second rundown, and then we'll get into some of the good, some of the bad. First period started great. Unbelievable move from Brock Nelson to create a sick goal to put the Avs up 1-0. But then the Avs are their own worst enemy. They take a penalty, get scored on there to make it 1-1, and then some sloppy defense and maybe a rusty Scott Wedgwood. It's 2-1 off of a play that comes out of the corner and ends up in the back of your net. The Avs do battle back, though. They are the better team at 5-on-5 for almost the entire game, to be honest. Late in the first, as mentioned, the Avs get Arturi Lehkonen on a crazy spin around in the slot shot, very strong on his stick. Beats Saros off of a rebound to make it 2-2. You go into the second period where the Avs absolutely dominate for the first 15 minutes and have nothing to show for it. And then their power play gets 3 consecutive opportunities that all fail to score, leading into the third period, where the Avs are still even or better, but Nashville gets a bounce to go their way. Cale Makar has to save the Avs on a last-second goal. 8 seconds left in the game on a 6-on-4 power play. To get it to overtime, no one scores. Shootout, you already know what happens with the Avs there, and I'm already 20 seconds over time. So, I don't know. If I look at this game as a complete game, everything, I actually think the Avs played pretty well. I think they probably get a little bit better puck luck on any given night, and they win this game 4-3, 4-2, something like that. But that's not the world we live in.
No. The Avs' worst period was the third. Unfortunately, with numbers and everything, they played a really, really good second period, which is why I think I'm a little mad about this too. Get goalied a little bit, and that's the unfortunate part of it. But I don't know. Looking back at this game, those 2 goals from Scott Wedgwood in the first really, really, really hurt.
They were not good defense, but they were also not very good from Wedgwood.
And that's, again, something I mentioned in pregame was not maybe having super high expectations for a guy like Wedgwood in a game like this. If this is a game you're going to try to get your goaltender who's been out for a little bit back in, like this was the game to do it.
Yep.
Against the worst team in the league, unfortunately, it bites. But I think he picked up his game.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It got better.
Like that, as much as maybe the third period for the team as a whole was not the best, I think Scott Wedgwood really shined through during that period, kind of with the surge that Nashville started putting back on with the Avs lull that they found in that period. But I don't know, in a game like this where you're fighting and Cale Makar gets that goal with 8 seconds left, that goal doesn't need to happen if those 2 fluky goals don't happen in the first.
There's a lot of stuff that it felt like the Avs maybe created a hole for themselves or found a way to make a game harder, and they ultimately don't win the game because of that. And yet you can still look up and down the lineup and say, hey, there's a lot of good play here.
Yep.
So it's tough to balance those 2 things where the Avs will play great stretches and then make a mistake that is so bad that it costs them a goal and ultimately it costs them the game.
Yep.
I do want to skip around a little bit here because the thing I'm most upset about in this game probably doesn't change the outcome of the game at all. You go to the shootout, Avs are terrible in the shootout. They're probably going to lose this shootout regardless. This even didn't really have any direct impact on the game, although we'll get to that. Okay. Get scored on by Ryan O'Reilly. Cool. You know the Avs are going to lose. Second shooter, Philip Forsberg goes down, does not execute on his shot, does not score, and then runs into Scott Wedgwood. One, what's stopping a team from just running a goalie in the shootout? Like
nothing.
It's game 82. You're in a shootout. You have to win this shootout to get into the playoffs. I'm telling my first skater to just skate down the ice and run into that guy. Sure, try and score, and then run into their goalie. Smash him.
Yeah.
There's apparently no repercussions for that. And I don't think Philip Forsberg did it on purpose. He very quickly was like, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Wedgwood, are you okay?
That's where I wanted to be quick to give credit to Forsberg. Like, he was a good sport about it.
This is much more a problem I have with the NHL than the Nashville Predators. All of that happens. And okay, in my opinion, if you crash into the goalie, I think there should be some punishment for the team, like -1 shootout goal or something. Sure, whatever, fine. Wedgwood faces down another shot, like actually plays and stops another shot. And then the spotter says you have to get pulled.
The thing is, right, he doesn't even go down the tunnel at first either. Like, he's just sitting as a bystander.
If we are actually serious about concussion spotters being about player safety, what we witnessed there is unacceptable. If he potentially has a concussion, he cannot face another shootout shot. What if that guy shoots him in the head? Like,
that's permanent damage.
Right. It's ridiculous. And we cannot pretend that it's okay the way that played out. I don't even care. Again, the Avs were going to lose anyway. They suck at the shootout. If you're here to protect your players, protect your players. Don't do whatever nonsense that was.
And I feel like player safety as a whole this season has been a little bit of a joke. And I say that like with as little bias as possible. It's become very and increasingly clear here in the past few seasons that there is not as much of an emphasis on player safety as there should be.
Yep.
You're seeing a lot of over-the-phone hearings, not as many in-person hearings for some of these larger hits or larger situations that there maybe should be. And again, not saying that should be Philip Forsberg. Not saying
No,
Philip Forsberg
not
should
putting it
be,
on him.
No, not saying that he deserves a hearing, deserves suspension, deserves some sort of like consequential action, whatever. But concussion spotters being that late to a situation, players being able to get away with certain hits that cause season-ending injuries, and not being penalized for it, or not being not having something happen to them, is a baffling concept to me.
I just don't understand how you can look at that and say, no, this is okay. We're going to let him keep playing, and then we're going to pull him later once it doesn't matter. And also, like, any amount of common sense, let Gabe Landeskog take the shootout shot, and then you can tell him, no, you got to put Blackwood in. Like, you get to perfectly ice Gabe Landeskog shootout attempt also.
Imagine how much that, messes with his head.
Right. Like,
he's standing, like, you're not, I don't know. You mentally get prepared to take the shot, and all of a sudden you're standing around for 2 minutes while you have no idea what's going on the other side of the ice with the headset on. It's
just, you are a league who's trying to take itself seriously. You are 4 out of 4 in North America when it comes to basketball, baseball, NFL, all ahead of you as far as viewership is concerned. And you look like clowns when stuff like that happens. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
NHL's got to be better there.
No, absolutely. I have nothing else.
Yeah, me neither.
To say.
I'm way more upset about that nonsense than I am anything that the Avs struggled with today. That's all I wanted to get out of my system on that front. So we'll move on and actually talk about the game itself. You mentioned the Wedgwood struggles in the first period. How much credit do the Avs get for battling back against the 2 weak goals? Or is this hey, you never should have put yourself in that spot in the first place? Do you need a better PK and or a better defense in general on that second goal?
I mean, PK has been pretty solid through 30 games so far. I'm not really quick to judge them on that. They're allowed to have maybe some down games, being in the top 3 in the league. I have you'd maybe not like a goal on the power on their power play, whatever, but I'm not as inclined to give anything on that.
Okay.
What I do think is really important in that first period, Brock Nelson gets the first goal. Scores early. Pretty goal. Beautiful goal. And Artturi Lehkonen evens things up heading into first intermission.
He does.
I think that's more of a testament to what the first period was. You let in 2 fluky goals. Yeah, maybe defensive coverage isn't where it needs to be. But overall, unfortunately, those are routine saves.
Yep.
For a guy like Scott Wedgwood. First one.
Certainly the first one, that rebound needs to be controlled.
Yeah, that tracking was a little crazy on my part.
Yeah.
From my vision anyway. And then, he doesn't move for the second. So that's, for me, I hate putting that on Wedgwood because that adds just that much pressure, much more pressure. But it is his first period back in a 3-game kind of lull and in recovering and whatnot. And again, I didn't have much expectation for him to come out and be a Vezina winning goaltender in the first period. That's his,
of course.
Again, first period back in 3 games. So that was expected from me. And he goes back out and earns that. What I think is more telling is the fact that you get a late goal from Artturi Lehkonen that immediately evens us back up.
Yep. You get to punch through that period at even. And again, the second period was great hockey from the Avs for the first 15 minutes. They were doing everything right except for finish.
Yep.
And some of that is credit to UC Saros for playing really well through that stretch of the game. Some of that is bounces not going the Avs' way. I'm sure some of that is be that much better at finishing.
Yep.
I'd love to tell you there's a better solution, but I think in a lot of ways, hockey's dumb.
Yeah,
Sometimes stuff like that happens and you just go, okay, that's what's happening today. You have to live with it. Sometimes it costs you a game. It's not the only thing that cost the Avs this game, but it's definitely part of the story. We do need to take our first break of the show here, so let's make sure we are shouting out our sponsors including the official vehicle of DNVR, which is Toyota. Go get yourself a Toyota today. Go to your local Front Range Toyota stores to get pretty much any vehicle under the sun. They've got something for everybody: trucks, SUVs, sedans, crossovers, hatchbacks, whatever it might be. Toyota's got it all. And 17 different models with all-wheel or four-wheel drive available, like the Epic 4Runner. They also offer more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. 16 different hybrids if you're looking to save money on your commute on things like gas. They even have hybrid trucks like the Tundra iForce Max. So take command of the road or the trail so you can explore the road less traveled without sacrificing smooth city rides in SUVs like the RAV4. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you, including AutoNation Toyota, Rapo and Centennial, Corwin Toyota, and Boulder, Groove Toyota, and Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stephen Toyota East in Aurora, and Stephen Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of DNVR and the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Toyota, let's go places. And if you got yourself a Toyota, fantastic. You can drive that thing home. Sometimes emergencies or crazy things happen at home, and that's where new built restoration and construction come in. They are licensed general contractors who can help with any project, big or small, but importantly, they're available 24/7 and truly care about being there for their customers. They'll work with your insurance to make sure a stressful process is as smooth as possible, and they offer a bunch of different repair services, including fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair services, commercial projects, and more. Plus, they're true fans of us here at DNVR, so they're part of the family, and we're super excited to support their business. Go check them out. They have over 600 reviews to prove that they really do care about their customers. When that home emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there. Head to newbuilt.com, that's NUBILT.com, or call 720-903-4254 and let them know that DNVR sent you. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Tiff, do you have that graph I sent you? This is a graph showing the 5-on-5 possession metrics of the game. And yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The Avs dominated the second period. First period, relatively even. You end up 2-2. Third period, relatively even. Yeah, you end up 3-3 thanks to some late last-second heroics. That second period deserved better. Mm-hmm. It just deserved better for Colorado at 5-on-5.
Yeah. No question about it. The crazy thing for me too is looking at the second period overall. Third, I'll more even in shots. I guess I will say. Second, you put 13.
Yeah.
On them.
Yeah.
Some of the comes from the power play, sure, but
you played hockey the right way.
Right. You did what you needed to do, and it's not for lack of trying. Mm-hmm. Like they started peppering him through. Maybe you'd like to see a little bit more, but overall, I'm really not all that mad about their effort from the second period. They got goalied.
Yep, there was a good amount of
Saros
goaling.
was incredible during that second period, especially.
And you look up and down your lineup, and you're saying, okay. The Avs top line had their chances. Lehkonen scored one in the first. The Avs second line had their chances. Nelson scored one in the first. Yep. Landy had a bunch of great chances. Marty was doing a good job of creating, especially for a guy who was sick.
Right.
It's not like the Avs were out there floundering, putting on weak shots. They were generating quality opportunities, and the puck just didn't find its way into the back of the net at 5-on-5 for them. Ultimately, the game ended with scoring chances 26 for the Avs, 15 for Nashville at 5-on-5. They were pumping shots in. They were creating opportunities for themselves. And then the power plays happened. And I thought the first one was okay.
Yeah.
You know, it looked decent. You created some good stuff. Puck didn't go in. Then you get two more power plays in a row that not only don't score, but don't look good. And I know there's going to be people that said, well, they scored on the last one. They went 1 for 4. And yes, technically, statistically, the Avs got better on the power play tonight. But one, that's a 6-on-4 situation that's extremely specific and niche. That's not going to be something the Avs are going to regularly be able to capitalize on.
No.
And two, you lost a point in this game because of your power play. Yep. If you score on one of those, the third period is an entirely different situation where you get to play with the lead. You get to look better. And in a world where the Avs power play had been good this season, you could write it off. in the world that we're actually in, the power play let the Avs down tonight.
No. And this might be very, small-minded thinking from me. That 6-on-4 power play, that's a power play in name only.
Pretty much.
It happens at the end of games. You don't see it very often. With those 5-on-4 opportunities, if I'm not mistaken, you get 7 shots.
That sounds right. Yep.
And so that for me, 7 shots in 6 minutes seems unacceptable.
I mean, 7 shots I don't think 7 shots is that horrible, but how many of those shots had any chance of actually going in the net, right? Maybe 1, maybe 2.
Maybe.
You created 2 real dangerous chances in 6 minutes, and that's being generous.
It's the amount that we crack this down to. It is, again, just so baffling to me that this team can be so dominant at 5-on-5.
Yep.
You're seeing the high danger chances
and then
they're
it just
creating.
goes out the window.
And then it's like they're scared.
I don't know.
Or something.
I cannot explain it.
It seems unexplainable to me with the makeup of this team. There's only so many ways to say that. I don't know. I genuinely do not know why it is the way that it is.
The Avs would desperately like to hire you if you actually know how to fix it.
And that's like, I know I've asked this question before. I know we talked about it a little bit on the watch along. You see a poor power play with Ray Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
You see a poor power play with Dave Haxtell. At what point do you consider this a Dave Haxtell problem?
Never. Honestly, okay. I get it. If the power play continues to be horrible, maybe you have to fire the power play coach, but
that just seems like a cop-out answer to me.
The reality of this power play issue is that it falls on your best players' heads. Because they are the guys out there. They are the guys playing the power play. They have to go make it work. We already tried the head coaching thing, right? Or not head coaching, but power play coaching thing. They fired Ray Bennett. They brought in Dave Haxtell. Ray Bennett got fired because the Avs power play sucked. Mm-hmm. He was the guy who took the fall there. You cannot say, well, it sucks again. We'll just fire the coach again. It's got to be more than that. There has to be a better solution than just going through what is definitively not the problem, because the power play is worse this year.
They're getting into the definition of insanity territory with the power play, unfortunately. And that's what's so hard for me to understand, too, is you see how much good Dave Haxtell is doing in every other aspect of the team that he has his hands on. Offensive side of different players, he's working with different guys to improve their game in the offensive zone. That's working out really, really well for this team, especially at some of the defensemen he's working with. I really love seeing that aspect of Dave Haxtell's hands-on approach with this team.
Yeah, Haxtell I'm indifferent about, to be honest. I'm sure he's doing good stuff, and he's probably imperfect too, because everyone is. But it falls on Nathan MacKinnon and ultimately Cale Makar and Marty Natchez and whoever other 2 guys they have out there on power play unit 1 at any given time, since they've been rotated a good bit. Look, this is a shortcoming of their game. And to some extent, Nathan MacKinnon is an unbelievable talent, maybe the best player in the world, and maybe you just have to live with a little bit of power play stupidness and stubbornness from him in his game. To the other extent, what is it going to take to say, hey, Nathan MacKinnon, you have to be better here? Mm-hmm. You have to be. You have to send that message to Nathan MacKinnon, and he has to understand it. Is that a conversation verbally? Is that a set goals for him? Is that a bench him from the power play for a game? I don't know. But it can't just continue to exist like this. We've talked about this before on this show. We are so far beyond, it's a cold streak for the power play, that you can't realistically tell me that. And there's a part of me, obviously I'm very happy the Avs at least got a point out of this game, but there's a part of me that is frustrated that the Avs get that power play goal in the last seconds of the game, because now you can use that as a shield to say, oh, well, we went 1 for 4. We were 25% on the power play tonight. Really wasn't that bad. Yes, it was. It was horrible.
Anybody who looks at the score after this game does not know the struggle that this team went through and cannot sit here and safely say that this isn't what lost you the game tonight.
Right. Eye test has got to matter too in that regard. And there's a part of me that thinks if the Avs lost this game in regulation, if they don't get that late power play goal, maybe they could have had a come to Jesus moment about the power play where it's like, okay, this thing actually lost us a game. Now, is this the point of no return where we have to fix it now?
Any smart person, and I'm not saying that there's not smart moments for this organization. I think this organization is doing a lot of things well, but somebody's got to speak up and sit there and say, regardless of if your power play scores here tonight, it's still what lost you a point in a game where you could have had 2 against the worst team in the league.
Yep. If there's someone you can figure out a way to win the special teams battle against, it should have been Nashville. Mm-hmm. And you technically tied it. But, and the thing is, like, Nathan MacKinnon is crazy in the sense of he's willing to do anything to win another Stanley Cup. Like, he will do anything. I don't think it's that unreasonable to go to Mac and be like, look, if you want to win another Stanley Cup, we have to have a better power play than what we have right now.
That he's willing to do be fixing the power play.
Yeah. Like, we have to have a serious conversation about it doesn't matter whether you feel like it's good or not. It matters what the results are of the power play. Yeah. And they're not good enough right now. Even with the goal to tie this game late, it's not good enough right now. No. So,
and even with a sick Martin Necas too, like which I feel like he kind of picked up his game through this game as well. Like
I had, for a sick guy, very little problems with what Nate just did tonight.
And so, like, you don't even have that to fall back on for your power play tonight. Unless it's literally just him. It's literally not just him that's sick. Like, you've got other guys who are dealing with some things. But even at that point, for 30 games, through a 30-game stretch, all of your guys are sick conveniently when a 5-on-4 happens. Miss me with that. It's so difficult for me. I don't know.
And this is not, it's funny because I think a lot of the expectations for the Avs have been blown out of perspective because of just how good they've been this year, which is absurdly good. And then you look at the power play and you're saying, give me league average.
Yeah.
Can I just get a league average power play? That's all I want out of it. Mm-hmm. And the answer is no, you can't.
For a team at the top of the standings, and we talk all the time about high expectations and identity for this team and having these characteristic championship traits. Mm-hmm. It is unacceptable for the power play
can't
to
be that bad
where it is for a team like the Colorado Avalanche.
Yep. They're too talented. They're too good. They're too far up the standings. By every angle you want to look at it, it's got to be better. If it was, we're talking about a win tonight.
Yep.
But it's not. So here we are talking about a loss. And again, I really am not that upset by this loss as a whole. Mm. Yep, the Avs still suck at shootouts. Okay, cool. Talk to me in May when shootouts aren't a thing.
Right.
Fine. Would you like those points? Absolutely. But the Avs aren't going to get them. That's just the reality that we live in on that front.
I think the one positive you take out of this, while I mentioned that one situation they actually scored on the power play is in name only, Cale Makar scored a power play goal.
Yes.
So there's something there to talk about. I think it's his first one, if my, looking at it, metrics and stats and things, it's his first one since April 3rd. Over 30 games
I do really want to dig into that a little bit more. We do need to take our
Yeah.
break, though. So let's make sure we hit that first as we shout out our sponsors, including Fire on the Mountain. It's DNVR's and Denver's favorite local wing joint. They have the hormone-free, antibiotic-free, cage-free wings, so you know it's the good stuff, and 15 different super flavorful sauces. Man, that's a tongue twister. Super flavorful sauces made from scratch, from mild, where I live, all the way up to insanely hot, where some of you probably live. I don't know how you do that, but congratulations to you. They've got the good sauces. Go check them out. They also have an incredible craft beer list and killer cocktails. Great place to just go catch a game as well. If you want to catch up with some friends, go hang out and enjoy some great wings. They even have vegan options if that's your thing. So get with them. You can try their insanely hot El Jefe challenge if you think you can handle the spicy wings and eat a bunch of them. Plus, they've got more than that. They even have delivery from their Wash Park store, so you can get it delivered to your home. You can also get $5 pints on Mondays and all-day happy hour on Tuesdays. Go check them out. They have 2 locations, that Wash Park one as well as one in Highlands. So go get it. Also, check them out at the DNVR Broncos tailgates. We at DNVR have them on the tailgate. If you want to try them, go check them, like I mentioned. Once you got your Fire on the Mountain wings, maybe you like it super spicy because, you're a working man and you've earned that stuff. You could also get yourself some Brunt workwear, or maybe, you have a working man in your life that you want to hook up with some Brunt workwear. That's the way to do it.
They have working women's shoes too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Women too.
I'm this close to getting some shoes.
Do it.
They're awesome.
They're really nice shoes. I'm not going to lie. Their Marin work boots are not only built for the toughest jobs, they're also completely waterproof. So if you're stomping through the rain and snow, they've got you covered on that. They're more than just work boots, though. They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. From heavy-duty work pants to weather-resistant jackets, Brunt designs durable, reliable workwear to keep you protected and productive in any condition. Basically, they saw the workwear industry was kind of a bunch of junk. People who hadn't changed in years and wanted to shake things up and give you guys the good stuff. So, with temps dropping in the holidays coming up, it's time to treat yourself or the hardworking person in your life to real comfort, man or women. I don't judge. Skip the throwaway gifts and get him something built to last. Brunt Workwear, you can get $10 off their entire order with code DNVR at checkout. That's bruntworkwear.com to use code DNVR. Order today and let them know you heard it from us. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. If there is a light in the darkness for the Avs power play, a light at the end of the tunnel, is Cale Makar getting the power play monkey off his back a sign of good things to come at very least?
I hope so, but as the Tinkerbell magic worked tonight, I don't know how much that's going to work for things moving forward. I think it's one less thing he has to worry about, right? Because it's been that long. It's been April 3rd since he last scored on the power play. That is a long time.
Yeah.
So, especially for a top guy in the league like Cale Makar.
Yep.
What we literally just had a conversation about a couple podcasts ago about being a generational talent.
And the crazy part is he has 10 goals this year with this one. 9 of them at 5-on-5. It's not like he's struggling to score goals. Mm-mm. He's just struggling to score them on the power play. Mm-hmm. I can't explain it. I'm glad it went in today. It saved the Avs a point in this game.
It's, and what makes it so much funnier too is that broken stick that happens at the beginning too.
Snaps in half on the first part of the power play. Yeah.
They keep it, manages to get back to Cale, manages to get through clean. It's one less thing he has to worry about, but this shouldn't be I did it now. It's the first time I've done it since April 3rd. I don't have to do it again. Yes, Cale.
Yeah, you do. You have to keep doing it for the rest of the year, ideally.
That would be great, especially if the power play is struggling as much as it is. Again, huge asterisk next to this, though, because it is a 6-on-4 opportunity.
Yep. It's not something that you're going to get very often. It's not something you're going to see. And it's not anything special, which is maybe the takeaway here from the Avs. You can score on the power play without doing something special.
Yeah. You don't need the perfect pass. You don't need all the dipsy doodles and perfect lane. Cale gets this through a lot of traffic in front of UC Saros.
He does. And Cale's always been good at that. Like, he's got the shimmy shake to create a lane and put pucks through. I don't know why the puck will either goes to the goalie's chest or whatever so often, or there's one extra body that slides the way. Whatever's happening with that, I don't know that that's a problem you can fix.
Right.
But the fact that Cale Makar can put a puck in the net needs to become more common on the power play.
Yeah.
I know we just spent last period railing on Nathan McKinnon and how he has to be better on the power play, and that's true. But also, Cale Makar scoring even a couple more power play goals this year, and you're saying the power play is not great, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So you got to finish at the end of the day on the power play, whoever it might be. Cale did it. That's great. You feel better about tonight than you would have with a regulation loss. I don't know. I'm just not, outside of the power play, I'm not that upset about what we saw out of the Colorado Avalanche tonight. So I struggled to be too mad at it, but
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Martin Necas,
Yep.
again, obviously sick, whatever. Doesn't play horribly, but you can tell something's off.
Yep.
A little bit.
For sure.
He's got a point tonight.
Played
So
fine for a non-sick day, but yeah, there were shifts where you're like,
some of the things that happened during this first period, though. Yoel Kiviranta
Yep.
taking that penalty.
Yep.
Some of the, whatever you want to call it happening with some of the depth, whatever. Does a Gavin Brindley being in this game change anything?
Maybe. It's the things that a player like Gavin Brindley, because I think we use Gavin Brindley's name in this slot. I think LOC could fill the same role, even if he is maybe a little bit less skilled on the offensive side. But for an energy type guy, I think the two places where Gavin Brindley really could change this game are, one, Gavin Brindley was playing on power play 2 before he got hurt. Maybe those power plays look a little bit different if you have him. Maybe you're willing to use that second power play unit a little bit more aggressively if you have him, especially when the bad power plays were out for the Avs top unit.
Right.
But two, you watched, I think, more so in the third period than in the first. And part of this is, I mean, it's hockey. Anyone who's watched hockey long enough knows you have a long stretch of domination and you don't get rewarded, and then the other team scores on some fluky nonsense. It happens. But having that extra spark plug, having that extra guy that can give you one shift to keep the energy going, I think really could have helped the Avs in the third period of this game, where you're talking about, hey, you haven't scored yet, but if you keep Nashville controlled, contained, you don't give up that one play, then you have opportunities to win this game in the third period instead of trying to get yourself back into it.
That's where I'm kind of stuck, I think, because I think specifically here in this game, when asking a question like that, I look at the third period where, for the most part, I don't know, you see a lull from this Avs team. The Predators are putting up 7 high danger chances on you.
Yep.
And you're still not getting that spark until you're on a 6-4 opportunity.
Yep.
And I wonder how much a charge guy like a Logan O'Connor, like a Gavin Brindley, does to change the tide in a situation like that for a team that by all means almost kind of looks like they've already given up.
And this is the type of game that you need those guys, right? When you're getting goalied, when maybe your top line isn't finishing quite as well as you would like them to. Yeah, on the nights where your top line's the best line in the world and they ball out and score 3 goals, you win. Awesome. But what happens when you got to grind one out? What happens when you need to get that little bit extra? Gavin Brindley could be a guy that gives you a little bit extra. To be fair, so could have a Jack Drury. So could have a Val Nichushkin. The Avs didn't get it. And they come up 1 goal short. Not even really 1 goal short. They come up a shootout short.
Yeah. Which I wonder, in a situation like this, we've seen what some of these players are capable of on the shootout too. I wonder if that's also something that becomes a bit more of an emphasis with as many times as they've gotten close to putting themselves in this situation.
Yeah. The Avs are... correct me on this because this could be wrong. This is just my own memory. I think they're 2 for 12 on shootout attempts this year.
Sounds about right.
And like, we know the Avs are a bad shootout team, but no shootout team should be that bad.
Again, I bring it back to the talent
Yep.
that this team possesses. You've got a guy like Nathan McKinnon who knows how to puck handle. Have a guy like Martin Netjes who has a lot of confidence with the puck.
Just
Brock Nelson even pulling out the moves that he did today.
and you know, I've long been the champion of I don't really care about shootouts that much, and that remains true. But also, I don't know, throw in like a couple of shootout tries at the end of morning skate or something, at least for the guys that you might pick to go into the thing.
The thing that I will bring up, I guess, is you're sitting within reach of a Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Like you still have, you know, a game in hand, whatnot, but you're sitting in hand. You're sitting within reach of a Dallas.
Yep.
You've got 2 regulation losses and 6, 7 overtime shootout losses.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those, if you perform a little bit better in the shootout or perform a little bit better in overtime, does that change where this is such a like nitpicky thing because the Avs are still first in the league. So like I'm not taking away from that at all. But I wonder, it makes you think, yes, you're stacking points. Yes, you're getting where you need to be and like you're still maintaining first, which was great, which is great. But how much of that could be a bigger lead if you learn to finish things out in the shootout? Yeah,
I think you could reasonably say, hey, should the Avs be 2 or 3 more points ahead of Dallas? Yeah, maybe. But it's a hard conversation because you look at a game like today, right? If you look at the last 5 minutes of the game, the Avs stole a point. Mm-hmm. If you look at the entire game, you feel like the Avs gave away a point. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to quantify which of those points did they deserve a second one, which of those points did they deserve 0. You could go through and qualitatively be like, oh, I think this, I think that. But I look at the big picture and I don't really worry about that too much.
Fair.
The Avs are a good enough team that they're going to go win a bajillion games this year. And if Dallas wins a bajillion more, then you know what? Power to them. Dallas is that good. I know we're getting a little off topic here of tonight's game, but I did want to talk about this a little bit. If the season ended today, Dallas would have one of the best power plays in the history of the NHL. They're a good team. Like, wow. I don't want to discredit them, but is their power play really that good? Is it really that good? Or are we going to see that power play slip a little bit across the second half of this season?
You got to imagine that it will, right? Because
at least a little bit, yeah.
And this is no discredit to Dallas. I feel like resilience has also been a decent word to describe them. Mm-hmm. But you look at a game like today against Winnipeg where they get the early lead and they let Winnipeg hop back in. Mm-hmm. And they're suddenly scrambling and putting themselves in weird situations where, yeah, we won the game, but at what cost? At what, like this game did not look like this in its entirety for the entire 60. And that's becoming the identity of this Dallas Stars team. Again, severely off topic, but you got to wonder, I don't even want to call it luck either, but with a lot of the injuries that they're dealing with, as much as they're dealing with different things across their lineup, you got to wonder when that fall off starts to happen a little bit.
Yeah, I there's a lot more. I'm not going to get into all the statistics, but there's a lot of underlying stuff that says what Dallas is doing is not anywhere near as sustainable as what Colorado's doing. And maybe they keep defying those numbers and they just end up ridiculously good. It could absolutely happen. But also, I think this Winnipeg game tonight is a perfect example of the way things have broken Dallas's way this year. Yes, they've had injury trouble. Fine. It happens. It's happened to the Avs year in and year out. Not unusual. Sucks, but you got to deal with it. And you catch a Winnipeg when Connor Hellebuyck's hurt, when they're maybe a little bit easier. When you go look at Dallas's schedule to this point in the season, they've had one of the easiest schedules in the NHL compared to the Avs, which have had one of the more difficult schedules in the NHL. The Avs' rest of their schedule, depending on who you ask, is very easy. And then there's a million for both teams interdivisional games that is going to ultimately decide the division.
I also want to point out that their power play got on the board twice tonight. Jason Robertson and Rope Hintz both scored power play goals. And all the credit to them being incredible hockey players, but you're telling me that they can go out and do that, and Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar aren't scoring regularly on the power play.
I don't know what to tell you. Is Dallas's power play better than the Avs? Obviously.
Yeah.
Something's
working for them.
It should not be twice as good as the Avs. And that is far more on the Avs power play has to be better than it is how good Dallas's is.
No, all of the credit to what Dallas is doing there. Obviously something is working for them. Something is clicking. What is it that they're doing that the Avalanche are not? Or what can they take away? Like I feel like there's something to be learned here from this Dallas power play. Like there's something that the Avs need to
They're doing something the Avs aren't, that's for sure.
I feel like the Avs are becoming so small-minded and stubborn here that they need to start looking outward at things like that. At what a Dallas with maybe a somewhat depleted especially with their man-lost games. There's something to be looked at here with the success that they are finding on the power play that the Avs can surely grab from.
Yeah, there has to. I mean, the Avs do anything different, and it can't be that much worse unless Cale Makar starts scoring goals all the time on the power play.
You won't.
That's fine. If that's the solution, I'm fine. Great. Whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. If we could bring up the last 10. Oh, yeah. Is it time? Yeah. All right. We'll bring up the last 10 after we shout out more sponsors. So, shout out to the folks over at Aura Frames. Been talking about them a lot because they're a great Christmas gift. We got one for my in-laws. They love it, mostly because we just send them dog pictures every day on the app. So they get to look at our silly dogs, which you can
not to love.
Highly recommend, especially if you regularly want to keep family up to date. You can give them an Aura frame and then use the app to send them pictures, even if they live across the country or whatever it is. You can even set it up to customize it before you give it, whether you have the box or use the app. You can set it and it'll have pictures on it when they open it on Christmas or whenever they might be opening their presents. Go get one today. They do sell out fast, so make sure you get in on it. They're super cool too. They're really, really nice to just put up in your house. And even play short videos if you're not a big picture person like me and you actually want a video or something to look at. For a limited time, you can save on this perfect gift at auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling carver matte frames, which are named #1 by Wirecutter. You can use promo code DNVR. That's auraframes.com with promo code DNVR. Of course, this deal is exclusive to our listeners, and the frames will sell out fast. So get in today and support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Of course, terms and conditions apply. And then go get yourself some Taco Bell. The good stuff. I regularly go after games because they're open late. So they're a great option. They have a new limited time Taco Bell option, which is a steak and roasted poblano rolled quesadilla. It's a twist on a classic form with premium ingredients to elevate your Taco Bell experience. The quesadilla is served in a warm grilled tortilla filled with marinated steak, melty cheese, fire-roasted poblano peppers, and a flavorful spicy ranch sauce. And these poblano peppers are truly the star of the show with a little bit of kick. Not too spicy, though. I'm weak, and they're not too spicy for me. So you'll be all right with the spice levels. Can never go wrong with steak, too. I love steak. Go get with them. A ton of other great options. You probably know Taco Bell. The potato and cheese burrito is actually my go-to, to be honest. But wherever you're at, whenever you can go hit up Taco Bell. You only have 1 week left to pick up the Buffs box, too. CU Buffs have a special deal with Taco Bell. If you want, you can grab a $7 box filled with 4 Taco Bell classics, and you even get a player collector cup. So live Moss at Taco Bell. Final period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Yeah, that's a good stretch of hockey games. 7-1-2 is not bad hockey by any stretch of the imagination. And you end up with 15 of 20 points.
Cool.
Well, I want to ask you this, Bailey. I need to actually look it up because I know it's going to be a stupid number. Do the Avs put a little bit of the blinders on and say, hey, we played 750 hockey. That's good enough. We're happy with 750 hockey. Or do you take a peek over at Dallas and say they played 900 hockey across their last 10 games?
Sustainability becomes the question for me in that scenario. And also looking at, expectations. The Avs in this 10-game stretch realized that God mode is not a realistic expectation for 82 games.
Yep. Not for the Avs nor Dallas.
No, it shouldn't. It's really cool when a team runs into that situation, but you don't see it all the time.
You do not.
And that's what this 10-game stretch kind of is for me, is the Avs realizing that they are human and that while it's not fun, the expectation is not that you are going 82-0-0, or in this case, you only have 2 regulation losses on the season and winning every other one after that. That's not the expectation here.
No.
The expectation is to go and win hockey games, and for the most part, they're doing that.
Yeah.
They're allowed to have bad games, just like every other team in the league is. There's no doubt in my mind that that's something they were reminding themselves of this season. But at the same time, you look at a stretch a couple weeks ago where they were 10-0-0. And that becomes like, okay, we know we can do it.
Yep. It's just not concerning to me. If you do a little bit of math, there are 52 games left in the season, so that means 5 more 10-game stretches. If you get 15 points out of all 5 of those 10-game stretches, that's an extra 75 points on your point total. So the Avs would be a 124-point team if they play 7-1-2 for every 10-game stretch left of the year. And probably a little bit higher because you get 2 bonus games at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unbelievably good. It's not a 140-point pace, but we all knew they weren't going to stay on that pace. Like you said, they can't play God mode forever.
Right.
The Avs continue to have this weird, I don't know if I'd call it oxymoronic or what, but you can absolutely be frustrated about individual games. Totally can be frustrated about tonight as an individual game. Probably should be in some regards. And then you look at the big picture and you remember, well, they're actually really good.
That's the beauty of. I love that Bednar breaks this up into 10 segments, and you can go anybody can, but looking back at the last 10 and realizing what they did. Yeah, losing against the last team in the league sucks. It's really I imagine they're kind of beating themselves down about that a little bit, even though they did get a point out of it.
Yep.
But they got a point out of it, and they've done their job in 7 games.
Yep.
In this last 10-game segment. That seems like you'd maybe like to lose to a not as bad team.
Yep.
To, maybe put some more goodwill on your character and as a team as a whole. But at the same time, I keep going back to 7 games. You did the right thing.
7 out of 10. You did the right thing. You did not lose 4 games. That means you don't lose a playoff series. In fact, you only lost 1 game playing real hockey. So it's really, really good, even if it isn't perfect. I will say, and I think this is, I don't want to overblow this concern because I don't think it's like a real thing. You can see a win against Nashville and a win against Chicago in the last 10. The Avs have a good number of losses to Central Division teams. Overtime loss to Minnesota in this stretch. Overtime loss tonight against Nashville. They have an overtime loss earlier in the year to Dallas. And I believe they have another overtime loss in the Central. I might be making that one up, though. At very least, you're talking about 30 to 40% of their losses come against Central Division teams. You're going to have to play those Central Division teams a lot. They're in your division. So you're going to have to start beating them a little bit more consistently.
There's a reason those games mean more.
Yep.
Because of how points are divvied and divisional lines are drawn. A lot of these teams could be teams that you're seeing in the first or second round.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're able to get it done against East Coast teams, that's all good and fine and well. But not being able to do it against the teams that are more likely matchups in those first and second rounds is a tad concerning.
Yep.
For me.
It's something on the radar, but it's not anything to freak out about yet. This is something I want to bring up as context here. And, where's the line between context and an excuse? Fair enough. No, the Avs don't need any excuses tonight. They lost. They got what they deserved. You ended November with a back-to-back. You got one day, you got 2 days off after that back-to-back. So you should have been fresh. You then play 5 games in 9 days in December, including a back-to-back on the road in the middle of it. This is the 4th game of a road trip. You don't really get that rest and recovery extra day after the back-to-back. And the Avs now go home and play on Thursday and Saturday. This is a grueling part of the schedule for the Colorado Avalanche. You are really, really expending a lot of energy here. The Avs already, before the game today, they canceled practice tomorrow. So they know they're going through it a little bit right now. If you can have a successful homestand here, you kind of make it to the promised land. After that, you get 2 games the week after. It's a bunch of days off. Then you have the Christmas break. And then it picks back up again. But the Avs are almost to a place where they can rest. Tiff has the next stretch of games here coming up. Look, the Avs get a little bit of a chance at redemption against Nashville after a Florida game. And then you have some pretty beatable teams. We'll see. I don't know if Hellebuck will be back for that Winnipeg game or not. If he's not, you got to be able to pounce on that. You get some of that stretch of Central Division teams that you have to find a way to beat. I think Colorado is really set up in a pretty decent spot here.
You got through the worst of it. Or at least you're getting through the worst of it. And if a bad, quote-unquote, bad stretch of hockey was going to come, it was bound to be during the stretch where they've got, maybe 2 or 3 rest days, if that. I'm not really of all the things to be concerned about with this team, doing as well as they have during that stretch and earning 3 out of 4, or at least 2 out of 4 games with a win, one of which is an overtime loss. So you get a point out of that. Yep. I'm not super mad at that. If they can, weather that, get to a good point where they can enjoy some of that rest, they'll be a better team for it.
Yeah. I really think some adversity is good to go through too. You don't want an easy year all the way through, and then you get to the playoffs and things get serious and you're not ready to get punched. Sometimes you got to take a couple punches. We do have a couple of super chats to get to here as well. $5 from Ryan, who says the points you're losing in shootouts are starting to matter. The lack of remotely competitive attempts is extremely frustrating. Figure out something. Yep. Again, I'm not too worried about the points they lose in a shootout. Win in regulation. If you don't deserve it. You would, of course, take the points, but it's not something I am hyper focused on. If the Avs are going to choose something to be bad at, the shootout is one of the best options you could choose.
With that.
But yeah, it should be better.
Yeah. Again, with the talent they have on this team, with as much as, unfortunately, I feel like you hear people all the time talking about stacking points early in the season or stacking points throughout the season, whether that be through wins or through pushing your team to overtime.
Yep.
Those 1 or 2 points could matter
at
the end of the season. Look at the East.
Yep.
The East is a perfect example of what closeness can do and what 1 or 2 points could do to push you and give you an edge on your opponents and on your divisional or conference rivals. I think you and I are on different sides of the coin here.
Probably.
They do matter. to me. And unfortunately, because at the end of the day, it could mean the difference between a playoff spot or not.
I mean, it won't be the difference between a playoff spot, but it could
But
matter for
playoff
seeding. Yes.
seeding,
And
yes.
I don't care about the seeding. You have to go win 4 games against Dallas this year if you end up facing them. Let's be honest. There is no other team in the NHL that's going to catch the Avs. So the only team you're possibly going to not have home ice advantage against is Dallas. With that being said, the Avs are ahead of Dallas right now, today. They lead by a point and they have a game in hand. So if you match Dallas's record for the rest of the season, you get home ice advantage. The points the Avs lost have not set themselves up for failure. They've gotten enough points to be in first. They have to go out and stay in first and earn that. But that's what you, from today, you have the opportunity to hold on to first. So you haven't trailed Dallas in the point totals. And that's why I don't feel like they've lost those points.
And that's where I worry is situation. Yes, they have to go out and earn it.
Yeah, of
for
course.
the rest of the season. But if this isn't something they work on, how much of that does become a problem if they don't?
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. If they were up to me, the Avs would never play a shootout game again. And then it wouldn't matter at all.
Stupid.
But they probably will play some more shootout games. I don't know how to fix it. Score goals, save goals. Don't get run over. I don't know. One more, Incredible Drew with $14 who says, 2 losses in 30 games when you're playing real hockey. Any one of the guys in the room would have taken that at the start of the year. The power play is trash and needs to be better, but we need to chill a bit. Yeah, I think big picture, you're correct. I also get it when you watch a silly hockey game and dumb things happen and you want to be mad about it. The hockey fandom is weird like that. Both things can be true. The Avs problems are just so frustrating because you know what they are. Mm-hmm. I think to some extent you know what the solution is. And the Avs just can't seem to get those issues ironed out.
Yeah.
And if their issues are they end the season 57, 8 and 20 or something. I don't know. That's not the right math, but it's in the ballpark. Mm-hmm. That's a really good hockey team still. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be imperfect. Hopefully they change it up a little bit though at times.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all I got, Bailey. Anything else?
It would be nice to have a power play that's maybe hiding until playoffs. So.
Look, if they come out in the playoffs and have a 40% power play for the entire playoffs, it's the greatest rope-a-dope in the history of the NHL. Like, it's going to change how teams approach hockey at that point.
Yep. But maybe that's the ultimate trick. I'd like it not to be. I mean, if it shows up at all, it'll be great. But
league average. This team is so good at 5-on-5. You get a league average power play, and we're potentially talking about the greatest team ever.
Yep. There we go.
Their power play sucks, though, so they're not the greatest team ever. We are wrapping this up. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. We are live for an off-day show tomorrow. Come tune into that. Especially all the Dallas fans who apparently hate us. By the way, I said Dallas was good in this show.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're a good team.
I feel like we're giving a lot of credit to them. So
I don't know. Come join us tomorrow if you want to be mad at us. We'll see you there. This has been the DNVR Avalanche post-game show presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.